Staying on top of the pressures of modern life is a real concern for many Australians, and being mindful has become a common catchphrase when dealing with stress. An Indigenous elder says Australians could also learn from the world's oldest living culture when it comes to their mental health. Eleni Roussos has travelled to the remote top-end community of Nauru for this report.
Lined up and ready to go, these teachers from Victoria are ready for a lesson of their own.
Welcome.
They've crossed the continent to spend time with Miriam Rose Bowman,
Not too much because they got mobile phones.
a former school principal who now runs cultural connection tours in her community of Nauru, south of Darwin.
It's hard for them to come here and chill out. And sometimes the non-Indigenous people that come here find that really, really stressful.
Forget following a run sheet, learning to wait is all part of the experience.
It's not a tour where you have to pack your bags and get ready to jump on a bus that's going to be leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning to take you to places and be there at certain times to do things.
Under the shade of this huge mahogany, it's time to yarn. It's here where visitors learn about mindfulness the Aboriginal way. It's called Dadirri.
Dadirri is being still, deep listening and being aware. It's about, I suppose, the makeup of who Aboriginal people are. What is your understanding of Dadirri?
I think it's just a sense of really being in the moment, at one with yourself, which I just find really impossible to do. We encourage it and we try and step up practices of being in the moment in schools now, but yeah, it's really hard.
The stress of life back home and how to keep on top of it all is a common theme.
I have 3 little kids and I work nearly full time, and I feel that I need to do it. I need to do it for my own mental health, and however, I find it very difficult to do. So what kind of advice do you give to people who use those excuses, I guess?
I wouldn't like to be in your shoe, but I know what it's like in the city. And so if I go back and live in the city, I've got to learn a new way of accepting where I am and also continue to live in who I am.
It's hard not to feel at peace here, surrounded by bush and water. Community leaders here say you don't have to be Indigenous to feel Dadirri. They say it's in all of us, and it's about tapping into the deep spring within us to find it.
I think because of the lifestyle that people have in cities and towns, rushing from A to B, day in and day out, is there enough time for them to sit and think about themselves and say, who am I, where am I going, what am I doing here, where have I come from, where do I belong?
Miriam Rose Bowman also speaks volumes through her art, which lines the walls of the local church. She says having visitors is a blessing that works both ways.
Our kids got to grow up in being able to live in 2 worlds, and for us to do the cultural education, I suppose it's also to make them strong to be who they are. It looks like the base of the tower.
As for herself, Miriam Rose Bowman is far from slowing down. She has invitations to talk about Dadirri around the world and says her message to people is simple.
We've got to appreciate each other and everyone around us, and we've got to also nurture other people's spirit and making them realise that they're just as important as anyone else that's sitting next to them.
Healing words from our own backyard. Eleni Roussos, ABC News, Nauru.